Hi guys, my name is Wangechi. Wangechi is first of all a born again believer. I am saved by God's grace, and that is the most important thing about who I am. By this grace also, I am a wife. I am an entrepreneur in the fashion industry. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am a friend. And above everything, as I said earlier, I am a child of God. Yes.
Yeah. So I know that you have a Thama and two shops, or at least,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, two shops. But before Athama, tell us how you discovered this, whatever you're doing. What was the journey like?
Right. I'd always had an interest in fashion. I just liked clothes. At first, that was all I thought it was. So I would be inclined to new clothes, but again, I'm a girl, so I thought that was just a girly thing. But then the older I grew and I got into campus, I had an interest in business as well, but it was not that clear. And so I was really wondering why this was an area I was very excited about. I loved dressing up. And my mom also played such a huge role in this because she loves dressing up. It doesn't matter where she's going. So I think I picked that up from her. So I just enjoyed seeing clothes and dressing up. And so sometime in campus was when I started my personal journey of really discovering my style, because I feel like for a long time I was really just everyone but myself. So I'd pick something here, I struggled so much with finding things that I love. So I realized my wardrobe was full of everyone but me. And so in campus actually was when I started to be a bit more intentional in, okay, I don't think I like this, I think I like this. So I took on a personal journey to just discover myself and also what I love in terms of fashion. And on the way, at first it started like a side hustle, just like how most people in high school campus have a side hustle, just to have some money to do your own shopping when you don't want to keep asking your parents for money. So that's what it started as. So I'd go buy clothes, resell. I'd go buy some jewelry, resell. That was really what it was. So I wouldn't say I had a clear picture of what was going on up until 2018, 2019 was when I realized I think I want to give this a shot more seriously, because then at that time was when I was clearing campus, so I was graduating, and so I started thinking, what am I going to do after? And so yeah, it started with a personal journey of just discovering who I am and what I like and what I'm inclined to. And now eventually asking myself, are there people like me who keep taking up everyone else's preferences and things like that, but never get to, be happy about what they're wearing and who they are, essentially. And so when I got more intentional about my walk with God, that is what stamped everything, because I was born again, but I was very lukewarm. I was just over there somewhere. So when I actually became intentional about my walk with God in 2019 was when it started being clearer what this was all about. So by extension, I am big on identity. Yes, since that time.
Yeah, you've actually gone like to the next point, because I had prepared to ask you about
Oh,
identity
wow.
and work, having like what the role that identity plays in your work. And I read a certain post on Facebook by Dr. Dindi Keith. He's writing like some really good stuff, and he insists so much on identity. And there is this quote he made: the fear holding you back is an identity issue. You don't deal with it by doing something different. You deal with it by by being someone different.
Yeah.
How important is your identity when it comes to living out your purpose?
Honestly, I don't think there is anything you can do outside of understanding your identity. And first of all, I'll just start by saying knowing and understanding and embracing your identity, especially in Christ, is not something that you just wake up and you've aced suddenly. It's a journey that you take every day. It is an every morning waking up to decide, I am a child of God. This is who I am. Your identity is what makes you do things the way you do them. It is what is going to determine a lot of things in your life. It is what is going to make you refuse even to do certain things in your life, because there is something that is bigger than I am Wangechi, I'm an entrepreneur. There's a bigger belonging that dictates how I run my life. And so it's important to first of all make sure that even if you are not completely sure about what being a child of God is, that you begin that journey of receiving Christ, because then your identity is in Christ, and then through that, through and through, you get to understand what it looks like to live out your purpose as a Christian. What it looks like if it's in business, what it looks like if it's in the corporate space, if you're employed, whatever that looks like, because that is what is going to really make you do things differently and also keep you grounded, because life shifts, industries shift, preferences shift, people have different trends every other day, all these things shift, priorities shift, but your identity remains. So it's important that you have that very clear, or at least wanting it to get clear as you pursue whatever area of calling God has you. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking of discovery now, in, would you say, practice, like technically,
Yeah.
you're in practice. I noticed I did a little bit of research,
Okay.
and your fashion sense has shifted. I know you've talked about it, that you are everyone,
Yeah.
but even when it comes to your business, there is the way you started,
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
and there is the way you are
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah, talk to us about that journey of discovery, which is now, I think it's now identity at or in
In
practice.
practice.
Yeah.
First of all, as I mentioned earlier, it's not something that you grasp completely once and then you run. And so at first, when I started out, I was really just trying to understand what this is that I had gotten myself into, which is being intentional about my walk with God. So I was still fumbling around with things. I was still trying to get direction. I was still trying to understand this whole hearing God thing, because I didn't know what that was. So I was really, really wrapping my mind around a lot of things. I was really trying to see how my personal life also affects the business and how I'm starting and everything. So at that time, I was really not sure about so many things. But what I knew was that I wanted to represent Christ in this area that I felt I was really drawn to, that I really, really enjoyed being in. And so slowly by slowly, I realized that for me, the clothes are nice, the jewelry is nice, but step by step, I started to realize I was more inclined to a woman being happy about how she looks, a woman knowing that, if you wear a dress and it doesn't fit you, it's the dress that did not fit you. You are not the problem. This thing started being more important to me. I started being more inclined to, anyone who's come for fitting here, I do not get excited when I hear people, downplay their bodies and make comments about their bodies, because over time I've come to realize that there is a way God intended for you to look. And in His eyes, it is beautiful. And unfortunately, society has done so much to make us think beauty looks a certain way. But God had you that way for a reason. If He thought it was not good enough, He'd have changed it. But if he made you a certain way, the best we can do is to improve ourselves. So if you're dressing up, you're dressing up to improve yourself. If you're going to the gym, you're going to the gym to improve yourself. It is not because you don't feel beautiful. So this started becoming what was more important to me. And so I tend to incline more towards personal style, and just I like having conversations with people even when they come for fittings and things like that, because it gives me an understanding of where it is that they feel a discomfort, or where it is they want to get more confident and things like that. So that dictated a lot of even a lot of the things that I stock, because I like to just try as much as possible to remind people that it doesn't matter whether you're a size 6, 10, 12, 18, 20. That is not the point. The point is that, you know, God thinks you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Not he thinks, he made you that way, you know. So my focus started, or rather I started to understand that these were the things that I was more drawn to. And I'm also really drawn to functionality. I'm drawn to, you know, you being able to feel good every day, you being able to have a wardrobe that works for you. And so over time, it changed how I do things. So I came from getting random jewelry and random clothes and random everything, to now being very specific with the items that I have now. So as we're actually going to we're going to start our 5th year next month. And so I'm just looking around and I'm like, a lot of things have actually changed, because there are some things that have started to become more central, which now makes me do things differently. I don't know if that answers the question.
It does. And I'm wondering what you do when a woman comes to your shop and they have an issue, they have body insecurities, which it's a lot of women.
Yeah, that's true.
And most of the time, even as a fashionista, as a stylist, you can tell from just when you're walking in the streets when someone is insecure.
Yeah, that's true.
From the way they have dressed.
Yeah.
How do you talk to us, like how you talk to such a person? Because it's insecurity and it's also personal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you can just there is a way you need to talk to them for them to calm down, for them to feel secure, and for them to trust you. Yeah.
First of all, to be honest, one of the things that I do the most is I pray. When I know a client is coming in, I really pray. And I also just take time to ask God to be present in this office every single time. Why? Because I'm not able to offer security myself. I'm also trying to navigate things in my life. But I know someone who is able to offer that security. So my focus whenever a client is coming in, or even on a normal day, because sometimes someone just walks in, I like to really pray and to ask God for his presence and for his help and for his guidance. And then I'm slow to speak. I like to just take my time to listen before recommending things. So whenever, for example, I deal with maybe a bride, I like to just hear what are the areas you are not excited about. Because truth is, we all have areas of our bodies that we're just like, I wish this was a certain way.
Yeah.
So I like to just listen to those things and also affirm as I'm listening as much as I can. One of the things I do, I have a sticky note in my, what is it called? The dressing area, the fitting area. I put a sticky note there intentionally, just so that as someone is dressing up, they can read it. And I try to remind the woman as much as possible. If you wear a dress and it doesn't fit you, detach yourself from that thing, because I know that is what breaks people the most. Like, you come, you're so excited, you liked a dress, you saw it on the website, it looked so good, and then now you come and wear it and probably the sleeve isn't going through, and you'll hear a comment like, I knew my sleeve, I knew I have such a big hand, or things like that. But I like to remind them that, you know what, it's just the dress that didn't fit. So let's remove the dress, let's take another dress. And a lot of times, people have come with an idea of the dress they wanted, but with the help of God, I've been able to help them see a different dress, and they've gone out with a very different dress, but they loved it more. So I like to be very slow, but most importantly, to really just pray, because that way I am submitted to God for whatever He wants this girl to know, or this this lady who's walked in. Something else, I try to pick the things that I can tell. Like for example, I can tell when someone is very comfortable with a part of their body. So I can just pick it up and be like, oh, you have really nice eyes, or you have really nice this and really nice this. It makes them a bit more comfortable. And even just to hear, if the client is open, to hear where this particular insecurity comes from. So you'll hear someone say, I don't want a sleeveless dress because of my arms, I feel like they're really big, or I have a scar, or things like that. So just to want to hear where they're coming from, then it guides what you say after that. And also, if you hear someone who is, you know, doesn't want to talk, to not push for it. Yeah, so it's different on different days, really.
Yeah. That's a that's a beautiful way to handle it. I've actually asked this question for someone. My sister is a designer, and sometimes she deals with such people who complain a lot about, you could have changed this. I told you to do this, but you didn't do it. But when you look at it, the bottom line is that someone is insecure about their body. Going back to clarity, I've seen you encourage small or people who would want to start business to start, and you said that the clarity will come. Why is it important to you for you to send such messages to people who are just starting, or they have ideas but they're so much afraid to start?
First of all, it's because it's something that I navigated, and I know there's so much pressure when you're starting, especially if you're starting at a time when so many people are doing business. Right now, a lot of people are starting businesses, and sometimes you start and you feel like, but there's so many people in this industry already, or I start and I'm not even sure where it's going to go. I don't even know what to do. I don't know, all these things. And a lot of times we want to have all our ducks in a row. We want to be sure. We want to be clear. We want to have all the, all the capital. We want to have everything figured out. Well, for some, they get that, but a big percent doesn't. And sometimes it's so easy for you to feel like, I might just leave it alone. And honestly, I had someone share how as life progresses, it becomes harder to start a business because responsibilities start becoming more. And so you don't have that much, luxury. For example, a lady who is, let me just use a lady who is in campus has more luxury of time than a mother, you know, a mother who is, a woman who's married and has children and has work and has all these responsibilities. This lady who is married with children and all these things, they do not have that much, they cannot risk like the lady in campus. They can, but their risk averseness, if I may call it that, is different. This person who is married with children is thinking, I need to support my family. I need to do all of these things that I need to do. But when you're younger, you don't have that many things to think about. So sometimes when you keep postponing, you never actually get to do it, because things will become more and you'll start being like, you know what, let me just get a job and get this over with. So for me, it's important because I know that you can, it's possible for you to just start. And if you think about it, a lot of things that you do in life, you just start, and then somewhere along the way you start being clear about what this is all about. If I want to go to town, I cannot just sit here and say how I want to go to town. I have to go take a matatu, or take a cab or whatever it is, and actually start making those steps towards going to town. Then I will eventually get to town. But if I don't, I'll always feel bad for never trying, you know. So I like to just encourage, it's okay that you start. I mean, a lot of people have started businesses and closed them, and started a second one and closed it. So if you feel that that is something God has put in your heart, of course, don't just do it because people are doing it. But if it's something that you feel God has put in your heart, then just start. Start the journey. You never know where it takes you. I did not have an office when I was starting. I did not have so many things. But to look at the things that God has given me now, I'm just like, okay, I thank God I started.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Talking of how you deal with customers and all that, because this is a day in the life of Wangechi, the entrepreneur. How do you measure success in your day, that this day has been successful, this one has been
Honestly, this is a conversation I was having with an entrepreneur friend of mine, and we realized success looks different on different days. And it's important for entrepreneurs to just embrace that. On some days, success looks like clients and orders and, you know, deliveries and being busy and being out there running errands and doing deliveries and all of that. Some days, success looks like clients coming in for fittings and for consultations and for all of these things without knowing whether they will proceed. Some days, success looks like a new follower. Some days, success looks like someone coming back to just tell you how they rented a dress or they bought a dress or they did something even a year ago, and they're coming back to just say, I'm really grateful for what you did. Success some days looks like you actually making it to come to work because success is different on different days. There are days, you see, the thing is, I am with my little experience, I have seen that when you start a business, it's exciting. You know, everyone is just like, yay, you started, all of that. But it takes so much work to keep showing up. And some days success looks like actually coming to work and posting or responding to an email or responding to a DM. That looks like, that is success some days. So the best thing you can do for yourself is just to know that it will look different on different days, but it's all success. Success for me personally some days looks like having a shoot and hearing the models talk about how nice they feel in their dresses, how important they feel to be part of, you know, the shoot, seeing them laugh and, you know, take photos and post and all of that. Some days that is my success. So I opened up my mind to seeing success differently, because if you're constantly looking at success as the orders, you might be very devastated within a very short time.
yeah. Talking about discipline and running a business like yours, it looks like there is a lot of glamour. And I've realized, even for me, I work at home, how hard it is to have structures. When I used to work, I had a structure. I had to report to work at this time. Like, I knew my timing because someone has put the structure.
Yeah, for you.
But now this is your business. How do you put structures from the ground? Like, you're building this stuff, which in the initial stages, it doesn't, everything, it's not per se morphed, but you can tell,
Yeah.
what is supposed to be here, there.
Yeah.
But how have you built structure for almost now 5 years? Because for you to make it to these years, it means that there has been discipline.
First of all, I'll say structure is something that I'm still trying to figure out all these years later. But I've had to remind myself that, number one, Honestly, when you're a believer, the standard is higher because number one, you get to remember who you're answering to above everyone else, and he requires excellence. He requires it is in the word of God that it is required of a steward to be faithful, to be found faithful. So to remember number one who you're reporting to will discipline you because you'll be like, what he has given me this thing to do, the least I can do is show up. Something that has really helped me is to know myself and to understand myself in terms of my productivity levels, if that makes sense. So I'm naturally a morning person. I'd rather wake up early than sleeping late. I do not like late nights at all. So that, with that in mind, I'll wake up early and do whatever I need to do and be at work. I try as much as possible to be at work by 9. I thank God for the fact that I have an office because the way I'm structured, it helps me to move from one place to another to feel like I am working. I personally can't work from home. Whenever I have, it's just because maybe I am unwell or I'm resting or something like that. But I usually need to have a physical shift to make my mind get into work mode or something like that. It helps me. So even before I got an office, I would get like a separate space from the house or a separate room or something like that. So that used to help my mind shift to now we are working. And then now the timings, I can be here at 8, but I try to be here by 9 at the very least because I know I'm productive in the morning. By the time it's getting to 2 p.m., my productivity levels really just go down. So I try to do as much as I can in the morning. And then now in the afternoon, I can take meetings, I can take, if I needed to go do a delivery, things like that. And then now in the evening, I go home. So knowing myself has helped me build some level of structure and also remembering that at the end of the day, there are bills to be paid. So that will ground you as well because you'll remember that there's this thing I need to do, so I kind of need to show up. So those are some of the things that have helped just stay disciplined, and also just the fact that when you wake up and see people, even if it's a DM or a comment or things like that, it's a reminder that there are people out there who actually care that you wake up and show up, you know. It's a reminder that there are clients out there, that there are people who are looking to buy things from you or to even just observe or things like that. So it makes you really feel like, okay, let me show up. I like to think about this as, imagine if you, there's an analogy that someone gave me some time back, and they told me how, imagine if the shop that's nearest to your place, imagine if some days you go, you find it closed, some days you go, you find it open, some days you go, you find it closed. You will automatically get somewhere else to buy your stuff because they are not consistent. So you will change. If you find them open, well and good. Even sometimes you'll even find them open, but you already changed and you went elsewhere. So it made me start thinking of myself as that place. You know, if people cannot depend on the fact that I'll be open, then that puts me in a very compromising situation. So can people come, even if it's to my DM, do I respond, and all of these things? Because ultimately, I don't respond twice, thrice, 4 times, then that's it. Yeah, so those are some of the things.
Yeah. What would you like to be remembered for? What is your contribution in the fashion industry?
I'd like to be remembered for being the person who emphasized more on the woman than the dress. I'd like to be remembered as the person who encouraged women to be who God has called them to be, to embrace how God made them and to love that and to actually, you know, grow that as opposed to trying to pick everything up on the streets. I'd really like to be remembered for those things. That whenever people talk about personal style and dressing the body of a woman and embracing your God-given identity, that I will be somewhere in that conversation. Yes.
Yeah. Um, to that, are there women who have come back to you and said, since you told me this and this about who I am, I've actually, this is how now I've been living, etc.?
Honestly, in all humility, I usually don't know how to say this because it's weird. Um, but I have seen people's style change through our conversations. And I've not known it because some of them are my friends, some of them are clients. But later on, just being like, oh, wow, I really like your dressing nowadays. I don't even know I've done anything. And they, just say, you pointed this and this out and I started it and I like it. So hearing those things makes me just, it's another case of success, just being like, wow, oh, so that actually worked. So for me, those are things I hear and I am happy about, because now it's not about I saw this dress, I liked it. It's I've started doing this, I've started looking out for this, and I am glad that you mentioned it. So those are the things that I have had a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to a young person who wants to get to business. They are a Christian. Is it possible to have integrity for your faith to and values to impact your business and not be compromised? How have you have you had temptations? How have you overcome them? If you can remember any example.
I have had a couple of them, to be completely honest. I've had a number of them. And one of the things that has really helped is submitting to the Holy Spirit. You see, when you do that prayer that you do in the morning when you're starting work, there are things that when you're about to do, you'll just feel you'll just feel the conviction to stop or to not look that direction. So I ask for the help of God to submit to Him every single time. And when I feel a pinch somewhere, to just leave it, even if I don't know why, because sometimes you may never know why. You may never know why God seemingly stopped you from entering into a certain contract and things like that. And it's okay to never know. As long as you didn't, only He knows what could have happened. Something else that really, really helps is to have a community for accountability. I thank God for the people around me, and I also thank God so much for the people in business around me, because whenever I've had a situation that I've almost felt like, hey, and let me tell you, these situations come at the times when you need money. The days when you would really be happy to see money or to have some money to do something, that's when a lot of these things come up, because then it's not a temptation if you don't need the money. And I've had a couple of those situations, and what has helped me is the fact that I have a community that I can ask, that I can be like, so I have a question. Have you ever had to do 1, 2, 3 things? And someone just being like, it's hard, but I have, and I refused. I just asked God for the right words to just say, no, I won't do this. And you go ahead and do it. I mean, you miss the opportunity, but what's more important, that you gain the world or lose your soul? Yeah. So at the bottom line, it's important to, first of all, be actually submitted to the Holy Spirit, not just to say that you're born again and you are not submitted to Him, and to have a community as much as you can, especially if your business is still, like you're still a sole proprietor, you don't have an employee yet. It's important to have a community that you can be honest with, because they will help you, and also you will help them to stay grounded. As for a young Christian who's looking to start, there's not a right time to start per se, There's a scripture that talks about, if you are always looking forward to the wind, you will never sow. I feel like I have butchered it, but it's somewhere in Ecclesiastes. And it talks about if you're constantly looking for the situations to be good for you to do things, then you'll never do them. So as long as you have taken time to pray about it, because that's important, it's easy to go with the wind and to just be like, oh, everyone is starting a business, let me start. And then maybe that was not it for you. So as long as you've had time to sit, to pray about it, to do your research, to do your due diligence, to study, to know the trends and all of those things, then you can start. You can start and you keep learning as it unfolds, and get accountability, get a business community of sorts. Even if it's just 2 or 3 friends, that is really necessary, because when you're by yourself, it's so easy to be discouraged. It's also very easy to go astray because no one will know. But it's important that you have people that you can be honest with, because that will propel you. As you also help them, they'll also help you. Yeah.
I'm loving these questions that are coming off script. So that, how much do you, I think that would bring up the question, how much do you trust God as your provider? Because it would mean sometimes you lose a business deal.
Yeah.
So, of course, you said the level of submission, but it also brings up the trust. Hopefully, I don't know whether another question will come out from your answer, but how was your journey in trusting your Father in heaven that He is going to provide for your business when you choose to do the right thing?
Honestly, it's not easy. That is, it's something that's not said a lot. A lot of times we look and we, make it look like everything is all glamorous and beautiful, but it's not easy. It's not easy to go against the grain. It's easier to, just move in the direction that everyone is moving. But then again, it's just important something that helps me a lot is to remind myself who this person I'm trusting is. It's not a person, it's not a human being that I'm trusting. It's not an inconsistent person that I'm trusting, it's God. And as hard as it is, I try as much as I can to remind myself. It also helps to remember moments when He's come through, because they are uncountable. There are many. So anytime I'm in a place where I feel like, oh my God, but if I lose this opportunity, then I lose the benefits that come with it. But to remember who it is that I'm trusting. And you see, one of the things that can help you really is to know that God has been there a long time. He has been from eternity to eternity. He is God. He knows everything there is to know. So if He is keeping you from doing something, He knows why. He knows why this is the way and this is not the way. And also just to open yourself up to hearing other Christians and some of the things that they've done. I know someone who, I don't know them, I had. I listened to someone share about how at a certain point of their life, God kept them from doing something that was what everyone in that industry was doing. And it looked foolish at the time, because everyone is doing, it's like right now, everyone is posting on social media, and then for a point in time, God just tells you to not post. So you're like, what do you mean not post? And this person just went ahead and did not do the thing that he was told not to do. And it looked very foolish. A lot of people would look at him and wonder, don't you want success for what you're doing? But then years down the line, this very thing that was the trend at the time, it ended. People stopped. People went to a whole other direction. And now he understood why. And so when I hear certain things, I'm just like, okay, you know what, it's fine. At the moment, maybe there are things I need to do or not do that will not make sense. But I want to believe that somewhere down the line, these things will make sense. So those are some of the things that help me to trust, to look back at my own journey and to listen to other people and to see that indeed it's not in vain that I trust. It's not in vain that I miss out on certain opportunities. I mean, people out here have missed out on a lot of things, and yet they've stood. And ultimately, just being happier that you will have a clean conscience. You will not be out there being celebrated and being successful, but when you go back home, your heart is broken because you know exactly what you did. People may not know, but it will scar you, especially if you're already a believer. So those are some of the things that I'm just like, I'd rather have it this way. Yeah.
Yeah. Wangechi, share with us your final remarks, and also maybe you can tell people where to find Athama. Yeah.
Okay.
And what you sell.
All right. So my final remark would be, in all you do, trust in the leading of the Holy Spirit. Be an active Christian, you know, not just by word, but by acts. Let people see actions. Let people see Christ in everything that you do, business included. Let us be people who are consistent, not just a Christian in church, but in the marketplace especially, and everywhere else. Adama is across all social media platforms. So what we do is we are in the fashion industry. One of the things we do is we make everyday jewelry for the corporate woman. So it's in brass. We deal in brass only. So we do neck pieces, earrings, all of those things for the everyday corporate stroke modern woman. So if you're big on pieces that will serve you without you having to feel like this one you can only wear on Saturday, then we are your people. We also do rentals. So we give you options for outfits that you can be wearing when you need to wear. As I mentioned earlier, our focus is on your personal style. It's on you having a functional wardrobe. So what we do is we have all those extravagant dresses that you do not need in your wardrobe. So we keep them for you. So you rent, you wear, you're done, you give it back, and you come and do it again. So we have both bridal and you know, evening wear, brunch, whatever it is that you need. You rent, you wear, and you return. And we also have everyday wear, personal styling services, and all those other extra things. But these two are our major areas. You will find us on Instagram, TikTok at Adhama_KE. Adhama is ADHAMA_KE. Under the same, you'll find our jewelry and everyday styling. And we also have a website, which is adhama.co.ke. So you'll find everything on the website. Then you can branch off into the social media platforms for anything else you'd like. Yeah, so that's Adhama for you. You're welcome. We'll be happy to serve you.